Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Andrea B. So I want to do a story time. So I'm in the kitchen cooking right now, and I said, why not tell a story time? So my story time today is going to be talking about the time that I thought that I was going to be living in Atlanta. So I was working 2 jobs in 2021 in my area of membership coordination, and I applied to this job in Atlanta at a public broadcasting station there, working in their membership department as well as a special projects coordinator. And so anyone that knows me knows that Atlanta has been a dream of mine. Okay, I've always wanted to live in the city. Like, I have family there. And just a great place to be, right, for Black people. And so anyway, I go through the interview process, got the job. And so I was so excited about moving that back up. I was so excited about getting the job that I really didn't think about all the things that comes with moving to a new city, and especially when you have a little one, right? So fast forward, I started the job in June, and I would just say, for one, I shouldn't, that was God's way of telling me, like, no. It was so hard to find an apartment, you guys. Like, the rent in Atlanta is just sky high, right? So when I got, my salary, I was thinking, okay, like, I'm gonna be making, decent money. I can afford a nice little apartment to stay. And once again, not thinking about me and my child, right? So much thinking about me and what I wanted. And so I'm just like, okay, so you guys, I searched for apartments, couldn't find anything that was in my price range. Then I ended up finding these apartments in College Park. Once again, I should have knew right then and there that that's not where I was supposed to be. And it took me so much to get in that apartment. Like I said, I should have known that was not the place for me to be. So remind you, it's still during COVID time, so a lot of the jobs are still remote. So in that time, I was like literally traveling back and forth. So my son would stay with my mom and my sisters for the whole week, and I would come back home on the weekends. And I would go back to Atlanta during the week. And then, you guys, it was just so crazy because I didn't feel comfortable in the apartment. For one, it was by the airport, and airplanes flying all night, and it was just real hood and very ghetto. I'm just gonna say what it was. It was very hood and very ghetto. But me being hard-headed, I'm like, nah, like, I got this job in the A. I'm living in the A, point blank, period. That's where I'm going. And so, guys, I would say I was maybe in that apartment for like, give or take, like 1 or 2 weeks. And I just was like, yeah, like, I don't feel comfortable here. And I remember when hearing like gunshots one night, y'all, and I was like, oh, no, like, no, I can't live here. So I ended up like just leaving, right? And so once again, we were still working from home, and there was just this big question. See, 2-year-old in the background. There was just this big question as if we were going to ever come back into the office. There was never a definite answer as if we were coming back into the office. So in my mind, I'm thinking, because at this point, like, I'm back home at my mom's house because I moved out of my apartment in Tallahassee just to be prepared for the move to get there. And so jumped the gun on that. So I'm back at my mom's house, and literally I was there in Tallahassee, well, in my mom's house the entire time that I was employed. And I remember I went back one time to like take headshots, for the company website. But in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to be here long, because one, being away from my child that long was just very hard for me. And I am a very independent person, and I don't feel like I'm putting my child off on someone, but that's just how I felt. I'm like, nah, that's my responsibility, and that's a lot to ask my family to watch him while I go to work. And I'm thankful that my family were very supportive of that and what I wanted to do, so I will always appreciate them for that. But I think I had to come to terms and be realistic that I'm not a single female without a child, and I have to do what's best for the both of us and not just me, right? So I'm working at home at my mom's house, and like I said, something in my heart and in my mind, and I knew God just was saying that you wanted it so bad, but I'm showing you that this ain't even what you needed, right? It's what you wanted, but look what it took for you to get here, right? So, and the crazy thing is, like, I took the job in Atlanta and was barely making enough to get by, y'all. Like, barely. Like, I was making enough to literally pay the little bills that I had because, you know, I was staying with my mom. And so, once again, me being an independent person, okay, I'm not going to be at my mama's house too long. Like, I got to go. But it was just a learning experience for me because honestly, like what they say about the A is true. Like you got to have a hustle, you got to have a grind. And just thinking about like if I would have stayed there, I would have literally been working 2 jobs, and then who would have had, you know, I would have to find somebody to watch my son. It was crazy. So just any advice about anyone moving to the ATO, just make sure that you have a job, or if you're that person that's on the hustle, that's on the grind, that you hustling and grinding enough to pay your bills, because Georgia takes out state tax and federal tax, right? A $1,600 check turns into a $1,200 check, and in Atlanta, baby, that ain't no money. That is not no money. And that's one thing that I had to realize. Like, I'm thinking because the salary that I got was a big increase from, you know, what I was making, and I just went for it, not really thinking about what it was going to be to actually get there, live there, and sustain. And then for me, being a single mom with a child care up there is so expensive. Like, they wanted $280 a week. I said, what? $280? Baby, huh? I paid up for 2 weeks of daycare. What? And so once again, I should have known right there that God just was like, girl, no, this is not the place for you. And I think it was more of I wanted to make it work so bad that I wasn't focused on what he was doing here at home. Because pretty much saying like, you got this job and look where you at, still at home. So yeah, for one, just make sure that you're making enough money to sustain yourself, because living in Atlanta is expensive. And I would say too that the apartment price in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure they've skyrocketed since I left. I know that they're high. So just make sure that you're making decent money to live and sustain. The second thing that I would say is that make sure you vet the apartments before you actually sign your name on a lease. I did that. I signed a lease before I went and actually looked at them, and I was so disappointed, y'all. It smelled like smoke, black and miles, and just being a single female and a person who hasn't really like lived by herself, it was a scary experience. And so like they had a gate outside the community, didn't really feel gated to me. And yeah, and Atlanta is a big city, and there are always, you know, good parts of Atlanta and there are bad parts of Atlanta. But like I said, I was being hard-headed, just rushing and ready to go. But I would say the little time that I did have in Atlanta, it was fun. It's always a lot of things to do, a lot of places to eat, a lot of places to go. And then I have some friends from college that actually live in Atlanta. So, you know, talk to them. They get a chance to really link up because I was back and forth in between Georgia and Florida. And then I would just also say that just make sure, and this is just whenever you move, just make sure that it's somewhere that God wants you to go. Okay? Make sure it's somewhere that God wants you to go. Like I said, Atlanta has always been a dream city of mine to live. Like, I love the culture. I love the city. It's a great city for African American people, especially those in careers and entertainment and everything like that. So, not gonna lie, like I was a little heartbroken and defeated that my job in Atlanta didn't work out. But at the same time, if I didn't go, I wouldn't know what kind of an impact I would have had in a short period of time. I was on that job for like 6 months. But thankfully, like my director of the department understood, my manager understood, and just was like, you have to do what's best for you. And I still keep in contact with them still to this day. But do I regret the move? No. I just wish that I would have thought about it a little bit more thoroughly. than what I did, and I would wanted to make sure that it was the right decision before I signed my name on the dotted line. So in anything that you do, make sure it's a great move for you, and especially like my moms, single moms that have kids, like make sure that the move is suffice for both of you guys, because if it's not, you're gonna end up regretting and just having a little resentment because you were thinking about you and not, the both of you. So yeah, I don't discourage anyone from moving to Atlanta. Like I said, just make sure that you got enough grip, okay? A lot of money coming in, because living in Atlanta is expensive. And just don't believe the hype. Like, go down there, make your mark, hustle, do what you got to do to make sure you're good, and everything else will come after that. So that's all I got for this story time, and I hope you guys enjoy my story about the time that I thought I was moving to Atlanta. I'm probably going to be doing more story times like this, because I just love telling experiences that I've had in life, so this was fun. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and there are more story times on the way. Until next time, guys, peace.